Full disclaimer, I was given a review code of this game from the developer. It's called Solo War Medieval. And I like to review these games from time to time. These are independent games that are really trying to make a name for themselves. And let's face it, the indie market is absolutely chock full, jam-packed. It's very hard to break through. So a lot of these game developers will reach out to smaller YouTube channels like my own and say, hey, if I send you a copy of this game, would you review it for me? So I said, yeah, sure, why not? I like playing games. I like knights, I like guns. What could go wrong if you mix the two together? Well, we're going to talk about all that today in my early review of Solo War Medieval. According to the official website, which there isn't much, but there is something to go off of, Solo War Rome Medieval is a first-person game like no other. You need to survive against infinite amount of knights, but modern weapons would help you a bit. Modern weapons versus Middle Era knights. What would be outcome? Test it yourself and have some fun while medieval knights try to get you. Choose your favorite weapon and start pew pew pew. Solo War Medieval is a game about surviving solo against medieval knights with modern weapons. And it's by a person named Kelsum Oy. Now, okay, I'm going to give Kelson the benefit of the doubt. I can tell there's a language barrier here on some of the way that the game is written out. That's fine. I don't care. I could barely speak English. I mean, I flubbed the review. I flubbed the reading of the website and the official press material. So I am definitely not going to pick on anybody for mastering not one but two languages. However, this game needs a lot of work, but I had fun with it. I would say if you're looking to kill like half an hour, maybe a little more like 20 minutes, you may find some value in this. You're basically going to start with a pool of weapons, and you're going to pick them up, and you're just going to begin shooting wave after wave of knights that come towards you. Now, the knights there are a variety of knights. There's the dudes with the swords and the shields. There's dudes with like the big two-handed halberds. There's knights with like giant broadswords. You get a little variety here. They all do the same thing. They run at you in pretty much a straight line. And as long as you are constantly moving backwards, you're pretty much safe. You're not going to get hit. Where you are going to take the most damage in two places that I've found. One, when you fall from pretty much any height in the game, even what would seemingly be like a low jump off of a balcony or bypassing a staircase. And two, if you ever stop to look around for whatever reason, or typically you're going to get T-boned by two different spawns. While you're backpedaling into one group of knights, you will inadvertently back into the other set of knights, and you die very quickly. Very, very quickly. It's punishing in that regard. It's made with Unity, so it runs pretty darn well. I saw easily over 60 frames a second. Probably could be optimized a little bit more, but for my computer, and I suspect most people playing this on PC, you're not going to have a hard time hitting 60 frames a second. It does offer a wide slew of resolutions. The highest I saw was the 2560 by 1440. Does not offer true ultra-wide support, which of course makes me sad, but I understand that is an outlier. You can run in regular mode, Windows mode, VSync, a bunch of options. Great. Okay. So moment-to-moment gameplay is going to be essentially you picking up one of these random weapons. There's machine guns, pistols, grenades. I saw like a sniper rifle, a shotgun, a sawed-off shotgun. An M1 Garand was in there, interestingly enough. Grenades in your fists, which do I don't think any damage. I had a very hard time killing any enemy with just fists, but you're going to be running, basically backpedaling, shooting wave after wave of enemy. Now, it is a little fun because the enemies, not all of them, but when they die, they have this horrific, very, very, very nonsensical moaning and groaning when they die. They also support ragdoll physics, so you will most likely blow off pieces of their armor, typically their helmet, before killing them and watching them flop wildly on the ground. After they're dead, the ragdoll physics continue. You can climb over their corpses. I'm not really sure why you'd want to, but their corpses actually stay in and become part of the terrain, which leads to some pretty hilarious results, most notably you getting stuck. You can shoot enemies after they're dead and kind of like pile them up. Again, I don't know why you'd want to do this. After the level is completed, you get a new wave of enemies, and the group goes away, and you start over anew. It's hard to say like where this game is going. There's no environmental traps, which I thought would be kind of cool. Most of the weapons handle and shoot and sound almost identical. It really makes it hard to justify anything except for like the MP5, because that has a pretty good fast rate of fire and it has a pretty decent magazine associated with it. The sniper rifle does not go through multiple targets. So shooting a single shot of a bolt action, I believe it's a car, I don't know, some kind of bolt action sniper rifle, shooting a single shot of that and then waiting for it to reload, or a sawed-off shotgun and only hitting a single enemy, and then having to reload, does really kind of make you question some of the weapon balance in this game. That's really kind of designed for, in my opinion, only one or two weapons. The grenades are nice. You don't take any damage from your own grenade. I found this out because I wanted to kill myself after realizing one of the enemies that I was fighting was somehow stuck either under the terrain or never spawned. And as I patiently waited and wandered the castle for a while, never found said enemy, I decided, well, I'll just kill myself and respawn and start over. Was not able to do so. There's also no exploration that's really warranted. You definitely going to want to leave the opening room that you start in, because after a while, the enemies will come so fast, you're not going to be able to kill them. You do need to backpedal. So being at a higher terrain is beneficial, because you can kind of shoot them as the knights are spiraling up a staircase or up some sort of terrain. Unfortunately, there's nothing to explore or see. There's no power-ups. There's no vantage points. In a few instances, I was actually able to completely bypass enemy attacks just by being on a slightly higher elevation than they were, which was obviously not intended. But it didn't really feel like there was anything worth seeing or doing. I'm walking around the castle walls, like, is there something neat to see, a different power-up that has, you know, a special gun that only has so much ammo? No, none of that. So very, very much like an early concept of a game, but it drew me in, I gotta admit. I mean, playing it was like fun, and I was like, okay, I could see this going somewhere. Definitely needs some TLC. Definitely needs a soundtrack of anything. Every so often I would hear very quick blip of some sort of like canned ditty. Didn't always match up with the action. It would just randomly start. It would play for 3 or 4 seconds and then stop. Most of the time you're playing in silence. You don't really hear the footsteps of any enemies. The only sound effects are your gun shooting and the enemies sometimes moaning and groaning when they die. But you're not going to hear their armor clanking or clashing to give you any indication whatsoever that they're sneaking up on you or that they're about to attack you from behind. It's just kind of silent. So take all this with a grain of salt. Understand it's kind of like a one-person army here putting this together. I think it could be cool given some time, but in its current state, it definitely needs some work. Definitely. But I wanted to do a video on it because it piqued my interest. And I see a lot of these indie games come through that I'm like, oh, a run-of-the-mill zombie shooter. Oh, a run-of-the-mill roguelike. Oh, another card-based game. But I don't think in my, many, many years of gaming have I ever seen guns mixed with medieval knights in such an interesting way. So that's what really drew me in. But I will leave it up to you guys to decide if it's amazing or not. I will post a link to the official Steam page in the description box below. Check it out, think about it, or just for the lulz, watch the trailer. I don't know. But this is the most accurate review I could give. And with that, I'm closing out this video. Thank you all so much for watching. Take care of yourselves. And until next time, I will see you guys on the other side.